Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. I hope you all are doing well and keeping yourself and your families safe. Today's lecture is the continuation of our previous lecture, which was about Islam and international relations, where our focus was on jihad. Today we are going to discuss Islam, democracy and international relations, and how does different scholars view this relationship between Islam and democracy, whether Islam is compatible with democracy or vice versa, or it is just a Western view that Islam is incompatible with democracy. To start with, I would say that democracy is a structure that enables people to choose and replace leaders by means of elections. It can also be taken to mean as active participation of the people, either directly or indirectly, in making decisions that affect them. That is, through elections, they choose a leader whom they consider to be the person or to be the individual who can solve their problems, who can make decisions that is not only in their benefit but also is in the benefit of their country. On Islam and democracy, the controversy lies with the concept of sovereignty. Under liberal democracy, sovereignty is derived from people, whereas in Islam, God has the ultimate sovereignty. Muslim scholars have conflicting views on this subject. Conservatives like Sayyid Qutb believed that democracy is a Western institution which is inconsistent with Islam, for it transgresses the absolute sovereignty of God. Seeing democracy as a Western concept with secular character led to conservative Muslims or conservative Islamists thinkers to reject the idea of adopting a democratic system under an Islamic state. Now, those supporting a moderate view on the discourse, like Yusuf al-Qaradawi, argue that democracy allows Muslims to rule themselves according to their own beliefs and values in countries where they are majorities. Al-Qaradawi thoughts on Islam and democracy are explored to see whether democracy as a system of governance can contribute towards attaining the values of an Islamic social and political order. Al-Qaradawi is an authoritative voice in the Sunni world, being the president of the European Council of Fatwa, founder of Islam Online website, and founding chairman of the International Union of Muslim Scholars. Another category, that is centrism or moderation, is a major theme in his discourse, or I would say is a major subject in his discourse, which enjoins Muslims to neither reject tradition nor blindly imitate practices of the past. Moderation also pertains to the respective attitude of Muslims towards modern form of knowledge while remaining anchored to Islam's foundational text. Therefore, he insists that moderation should extend to politics as well. Centrist or those who are supporter of centrism or moderation, they assert that the Quranic injunctions on shura makes democracy compatible with Islam. Liberals, on the other hand, emphasize on the importance of plurality and freedom of thought in a democratic system, as well as equality in the civic rights and duties of Muslims and non-Muslims. From outside looking in, the so-called democratic deficit in Arab world seems apparent. Out of 45 countries with a significant or majority Muslim population, only 23, that is about 51%, have democratically elected governments. Hence, the question to be asked is whether Islam is conducive to democracy or not. Many scholars studying Islam and democracy have reached contradictory conclusions. Montesquieu and Bernard Lewis claim that historical developments dating back to the Arab conquests have enduring impact to present-day structure which perpetuate the region's autocratic leanings. Al-Qaradwi also argued that election is derived from the principle that it is the Ummah which grants political authority, because the Quran, Sunnah, and the historical experiences of the rightly guided caliphs all confirm that people are entitled to choose to select their leader. He believed democracy is a mean for people to live a free and honorable life, for they cannot elect their elect their rulers as they please, hold them accountable for their actions, and compel them to change if they go astray without resorting to revolution and assassination. Now, democracy for the West is, or I would say means the same. However, Al-Qaradwi is only mentioning the Muslim population. In a democratic state, if the majority of the population is Muslim, but there also are other religious groups belonging to different faiths, they also have the freedom to follow their own faiths, to go to their own places of worship, to have freedom of their own belief. So that is the only aspect which Al-Qaradwi, as far as I've read him, he has not touched on. Because unlike his earlier view on democracy, he did not dismiss terms like constitutions, elections, and pluralism merely due to their Western origins. He studied these concepts and found parallel legal structures and principles in his efforts to construct a notion of democracy derived from Islamic traditions. He saw the value in borrowing ideas, methods, and systems that are beneficial to Muslims for as long as these do not contradict the principle of Sharia. While Islam antedates democracy, Muslims can cultivate democratic notions of their religion using ijtihad in accordance with the basic principles of Islam, public interest, human conditions, and the realities of the time. Democracy does not require people to overcome the divine law and norms. Al-Qaradwi argument that Islam is compatible with democracy is predicted on the assumption that if citizens of the state are Muslims, they would not enact legislations that contravene God's commands. Instead, democracy allow Muslims to achieve a political system which functions within the parameters of Islam. Elections, for instance, can be incorporated into Islamic system despite its close association with Western institutions. From the point of view of Islam, voting is a way of attesting to a candidate's eligibility to be in public office. It is the duty of Muslims to vote according to their conscience, lest they commit a grave sin. With this, I'll wind up today's lecture, and please subscribe and like the channel, and hope to see you again. Khuda Hafiz.